It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's IndyCar night on iRacing. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gatza, and welcome back to Race First coverage of Round 7 of Season 3 of 2022 of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split, coming to you from the world's most famous race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And as always, joining me in the booth for expert analysis from the NHR Esports team and to make about to make his 100th start in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by Butt Kicker, is Steven Larkamp. Steven, congrats on the upcoming 100th start. That is a huge milestone. But before we get there, we're here at Indy first, and well, I'm kind of disappointed because for a lot of people tonight, what is old is new, but for us running the oval, what is old is still what is old.
That is very much true, and if you don't know what we're on about, there was an update that dropped today in the iRacing service about the new version of Indianapolis that has been much anticipated by pretty much everybody, really, for a long time now, and we got it, well, one layout of it anyway. So I guess you could say it's that meme of, well, yes, but actually no, because what we got instead was a redo on the road course, which, yes, I have been looking forward to that as well. I mean, I love my road racing, so it's great to see that finally arrive, but that was the only one we got. We have not gotten the rescan of the oval, of course. We're still waiting on that, though. I can see a argument for not implementing it immediately, especially since we already had setups involved here for Indy Fixed, and to go over them again on the day that you were to have your first races on it, it may have been problematic in some regards, and there could be other arguments as well, but in either case, I'm still low-key disappointed like you are, Gary, and we're still running the old Indianapolis. Of course, it is familiarity, but in some ways, familiarity can breed contempt, especially when we've had something exciting coming down the pipe. But that's still coming down the pipe, no doubt about it, even though we have our own little theories as to why that's been the case, but at the same time, we still get to savor the old Indianapolis one last time before we finally get the new version of the Brickyard.
Trying to spin it as best he can. Steven Larkamp. Man, just let's savor it one more time. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we're thinking it's probably going to be quite some time before we see the oval, at least probably till May when the next IndyCar season gets here. So we have what we have for at least a little bit longer. Well, as you know, here are all the IndyCar track records you need to know at Indianapolis. Single unofficial track record 239.260 Ari Luyendyk. Single official track record 237.498 Ari Luyendyk. 4-lap official average 236.986. Almost beat this year, but not quite. Ari Luyendyk still holds that one too. 4-lap average almost beat this year. Ari Luyendyk holds that one as well, 236.986. Official fastest race lap ever turned here, 2:36.103 by Eddie Cheever. And the official race average speed of a winner is 190.690 by Elio Castroneves when he won his fourth. So as you know, the career wins leader here at Indianapolis are Foyt, Allenser Sr., Rick Mears, Elio Castroneves, all with 4. Franchitti, Meyer, Rose, Rutherford, Shaw, and Bobby Unser each have 3. Your leading active drivers at the moment, of course, with Castroneves with 4. You got Takuma Sato and Juan Montoya each with 2. And, well, we had a new winner this year with Marcus Ericsson. So hopefully he will start making his way up the list. Team Penske figuratively and literally owns the Speedway. The team has amassed 18 wins between 13 different drivers. Penske Entertainment Group are owners and operators of the Speedways now since 2020. Well, let's take a look. How's qualifying going? As we're about 50 seconds remaining before we start lining up. Our man Jesper Orman, 229.228 miles per hour. Pinero, 229.212. Pablo Diaz Francis, 229 flat. Dakota DeMaid, the first car outside of the 229 bracket, 228.934. And Mark Murphy, 228.742 are your top 5 with about 30 seconds remaining in qualifying.
And I will say those lap times are quite impressive, especially since this year for the Indy 500, they were having a slower pace than usual. But the fast times right now with Jesper Orman and Adriano Pinero, those are some very, very quick times for fixed setup. And they'd even be quick in an official competition in previous seasons. So if indeed this is the last time we see the old Indianapolis Motor Speedway scan on an official competition, it's going out with a bang, I would say, in terms of pace.
Well, you know the drill before we start every race here. Hey, Steven, would it surprise you that half of everyone watching tonight right now is not subscribed to the channel?
Say what?
Exactly. According to YouTube analytics, 50.9% of you not subscribers. Let's change that right now. Help us out our drive to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy race first coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split and you respect the weekly stream, please do us a solid and make sure you're supporting us by subscribing. We have really about 130 or so subscribers to go to get to the magical 1,000 mark. So we're getting there. So help us by hitting that subscribe button right now. We cannot get there without you. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on more future Race First iRacing broadcasts, and we have a lot of them. Now let's get into the corner of 16th at Georgetown, and for tonight's starting lineup and opening lap here at Indy is Stephen Larkamp.
On the pole, the number 4 of Jesper Orman with a lightning fast time. Lap time wise is a 39.414. Very, very quick. Alongside him, the pole meister for much of the season and one of the championship contenders, of course, as he was the champion last season, Adriano Pinero in the number 1. Row 2 will be PDF, Pablo Diaz Francis in his number 3 machine, alongside the 7 of Dakota DeMaid, who spun on his first lap of qualifying, but followed it up quickly with 4th place. Awesome job for Dakota. Row 3 will be Mark Murphy in the number 2. Very quick last week at Kentucky, came very close to a win. Alongside him will be Gonzalo Romero in the number 8, PDF's teammate. Row 4 will be Alexandre Gon in the number 6, alongside the 13 of Brian Spots, both of them trying to make amends for some really noticeable struggles in the last few times they've appeared here on Monday night. Row 5, rounding out your top 10, Trace Shadid's number 5, alongside the 15 of Aaron McQuarrie. Row number 6 will be James Kennedy in the 19, alongside the 16 of Cesar Cabral. David Thomas in the number 20 will be starting alongside the 9 of Brian Campbell on row 7. Row 8 will be David Graybill's number 21, alongside the 10 of Stephen Lee. And row number 8, I should say. Matthew Mercer in the number 11, alongside the 17 of Frank Irwin Jr. Row 10, Austin Jordan's number 14. He's the last of the drivers to post a qualifying time, and it was a rather bit of a sandbag, I could probably tell by his lap time, alongside the 12 of Felipe Radicic. Gil Ribeiro in the number 18 will start alongside the 22 of DL Lemon on row 11. Row 12 will be Stefano Casalabetta and Dan Rafero, numbers 23 and 24. And shotgun on the field of 25 cars is the number 25 of Diego Parreño.
My man Diego made his first visit here to Indianapolis for the 500 this May. I gotta tell you, it was an experience of a lifetime for him.
Oh, it always was. I still remember when I went to the Speedway for the first time in 2010. I was celebrating my 16th birthday that year, and of course the Indy 500 always falls on Memorial Day weekend for me, and so it worked out tremendously. I really am blessed with a great birthday, I will say. It's always fantastic to go to the Speedway, and the first time you go there, you never forget it.
It's a lot bigger than what you see on TV. Once you walk underneath that tunnel and you're looking at the front entrance of the Hall of Fame Museum, and you realize that's just the front part of the track. You haven't even explored the rest of the track. You just realize how big the place is. And I'm just blessed to be from Indianapolis. So, rub it in.
So that.
Here we go, getting ready to call the opening lap here. Steven, it's all yours.
Waiting on the pace car. We're getting ready for the biggest race of the fixed calendar every season. It's Indianapolis. Jesper Orman on the throttle. We are green at the Brickyard. Pinero moves down low to cut off PDF already.
I don't think PDF was too happy about that unless he knew that one was coming. And on the top side, here comes one of his teammates.
Too pleased.
Here comes Pablo Diaz-Francis. And that was Gonzalo Romero. Gonzalo Romero. That might have been him, actually. But Gonzalo Romero is actually up here joining this party as well. But yeah, I would not be very pleased about that move. And now we got PDF around him. PDF now taking over 2-3.
For the lead
and here
turn
goes
number 3.
Pinero's going to follow him.
Pinero following through. Jesper Orman shoved up on the high side there, but it is going to be the 3 of Pablo Diaz-Francis that looks to lead lap number 1 out of 50 here tonight. Orman, though, that is not the start he wanted. Now right behind him is, of course, Gonzalo Romero, who's already up 2 spots up to 4th place. Good start for him. Dakota DeMay just settling into a rhythm. Pinero way up on that high line in turn 1.
Stephen Lee up 4 spots already. He's up to 12th. A little bit further
Great
on back.
Great start by Stephen Lee in the number 10, but PDF looking to see if he can hold off there. He does hold off Pinero as they head into 1 and 2, into 3 and 4, I should say. Pinero trying to find whatever sort of clean air he can to get that sort of grip on exit. He does not want to be in the aero wash of the number 3 in the middle of the corner. And now here he comes down the front straightaway. Looking to the inside into turn 1. He will clear him.
Yep, just patience. That's all it took a little bit. But now he has the lead. Looks like the high line is working once again. Going to get a good run for PDF down the backstretch.
Seems once again a game of find the clean air for a lot of these guys as PDF looks at the inside into turn 3.
I thought Jesper was going to make 3 of it, but he decided not to. I thought Jesper might also try to follow PDF through, kind of like what Pinero did to him, but he thought better of it. Tucked back in there. We're going down the main straight here, coming to starting lap 4.
You may be on the freshest tires you'll have at the start of this stint, but it's still early days in this race. A lot can happen, and you don't want to throw it away on a risky gambit starting lap number 4. As once again, PDF looking to find the grip on the high line, find the aerodynamics, and that's given him a run down the back straightaway as he looks once again to the inside. Here comes Orman making
he's going to do it.
For the lead.
He's going to do it. He's going to stick the car in there, go 3 wide in the bottom,
PDF,
and there's still 3 wide.
PDF. If he didn't touch that wall, he came dangerously close to it. But Jesper Orman is still there on the low side. Pinero, there's a big gap there. Pinero can make it 3 wide, and he does.
Now we're looking like a real start of the Indy 500 right there. Walking their way in the 1-3 wide.
Ooh, as Pinero once again takes the lead.
Someone hit the wall. Not sure who it was. It might have been Romero.
See, and Gonzalo Romero now side by side with Dakota DeMay for P4. He does clear him there, whatever may have happened if that was indeed the number 8 machine. We'll see what happens here. No caution, of course. No one has had a catastrophic failure as of yet. But Francis once again to the lead. Here comes Pinero again. Bitten image the last time, and here comes Orman trying to make it 3 wide once more. And bear in mind here, this is only lap 6.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of not surprised at Orman making this run. I've been talking to him a couple of weeks. He's been really a victim of just circumstance, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, sometimes being around the wrong driver at the wrong time. And
caution is out.
Caution is out. James Kennedy is showing in the pits. and we'll see what happened right here.
In
the Sparko
James
car.
Kennedy.
It's like he just kind of washed up a little bit. There he is racing the 20. I'm not sure who the 20 is. That's David Thomas. Let's see what happens here. Let's get a slightly different angle.
So, looks like some contact from what I'm seeing. Looks like David Thomas may have washed up a little bit from the car in front of him, and Kennedy was just a bit too close for him.
Yep, and fortunately, it's a single car incident, but unfortunately, that ends James Kennedy's day. So everybody now under caution. We got our fuel man in the lineup right now, Cesar Cabral. Remember last time he did 38 laps on that final stint when we were here last time for Indy Fixed. He's still not even in that window right now, but everybody is staying out. They're not even remotely close to a window in order to make it on. They'll have to make it on an additional stop.
Yeah, it's definitely not the time I would think. It would be at minimum lap 15 if you're able to fuel save would be the safe bet for me. Of course, we've seen other drivers, as you mentioned, Cesar Cabral was able to get 38 laps out of it once, so that would require pitting on lap 12 or 13. So that'd be amazing if that was the case again, but it's still too early even for that, working lap 7. So
showing Gil Ribeiro now out of the race. A lot of pump fakes going into the pits further on back. And one of those making the run down pit road, I believe, is Cesar Cabral. Still a little early. He's going to have to do maximum fuel saving if that's the case. You'll probably see him come down right before green and top off if that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, I can see some of the runners may well be. Yeah, I see DL Lemon on pit road and the like. But it is a bit early. Of course, if you're at the back of the pack and you top off fuel anyway, it's not the worst call you could make. You're already towards the back anyway.
Right, no. And we both know that Cabral and Lemon are good on the ovals and good from coming deep in the field. So this should be nothing new for him. Actually, and there we see Lemon right now coming around pit road, exit road. He's in that Bitcoin sim racing sponsored car. So we will see these guys. Of course, they don't have to really huff it that much if they don't want to, because everybody in front of them still has the pit again.
Very true. Of course, everyone will have to pit again. But of course, the leaders here, they knew full well that this was not going to be. Oh, as I see. I'm not sure what Jesper Orman was doing there. He has left side tires in the grass there in turn 3.
I'm wondering. Okay, so there's been a lot of talk here this weekend, especially during the Spa 24. We had some teams actually pull out of the Spa. It was either 6 hour or 24. I can't remember which race it was, because there is
24 hour this past weekend.
Yeah, there is an exploit that they found where if tires run in the grass, it then cools them off, and then it allows them to be grippier for a lap or so. And I don't know if maybe he found something out and he was just experimenting right then and there, not getting enough of a car over on the grass to get an incident, but getting enough of the wheels on the grass to possibly cool off that left side rubber. And he wasn't the only one doing it.
Interesting. So may well be something that Jesper is trying to exploit a little bit to see if that works for him. And also, I'm also kind of wondering low-key wondering if he indeed got an incident point for that. He might have anyway.
Now, where we see Gonzalo Romero running, you can do that. And in fact, there's he's working on the left side, the right side rubber that time, trying to cool that off to get back on. Now, you can run the apron, and that is actually something I've even done in IndyCar races, because that is actually the absolute shortest way around. There's PDF getting some tires off into the backstretch grass there. Now there's a pretty big bump there between the grass and the tarmac. So I don't know if they really want to do that down the backstretch, because they might actually spin the car out and possibly beach it. But yeah, you can run the apron under caution, provided that you don't lose pace, and you can run down there, and that's a shorter way around, and you could save precious drops of fuel down there if you want to.
Indeed, I've seen a lot of drivers use that. It is an interesting exploit you can do, but really there's not much you can do about it. So if you're in the know about it, it's an interesting little trick of the trade that these guys have all learned. But we're waiting on that pace car now, beginning lap number 10. Pace car off. It's Pinero, Orman, PDF, Romero, and DeMay. And Pinero on the throttle leaves Orman behind him, and now he's fallen into the clutches of PDF, going towards turn number 1 again. Here comes PDF to the high side in the turn 1.
So both the cars behind Pinero were doing the cooling tactic. Will both of these guys be able to reel in Pinero, who wasn't doing the cooling tactic? Pinero, of course, being out in front of these guys, not noticing what's going on, unless he possibly had some teammates that were telling him what's going on. Here comes Jesper to the inside, and here comes PDF to the middle, and we're going to have ourselves a bit of a shootout in turn 3.
3 wide action there, and Jesper Orman makes the best of it. And I don't think that was just the tires. I think that was just the draft being as big as it is.
Gonzalo in the wall.
Oh, Romero. He's gotten it on the pit road, but that is right front suspension damage on the number 8. That is probably game, set, and match for him. I see a meatball flag flying on his indicators. That could well be game over for one of the fast cars here tonight early. Horrible break.
Yeah, that is day done. So that's one less teammate for PDF in this race. He does have another teammate currently finding his way from the rear of the field. That's Diego Pinero back in 18th. 3 wide again through the north portion of the racetrack.
Jesper Orman still holding on to the lead, but PDF will have the run down the front stretch. And he'll have a look to the inside, this time into turn 1. Can Pinero make it 3 once more? That seems to be a trend tonight, but not this time by.
No, I think this time, I think Jesper shut the door on purpose this time.
Yeah, probably. You mentioned before he's maybe driving a little frustrated, especially with recent events, with his torrid luck that he's had. Just wrong place at wrong time in a lot of cases here. But Jesper Orman now, in this fight for the lead, he's going to, I think I can definitely see his aggressive mindset here tonight.
It's not just wrong place, wrong time. I think several times, you make mental notes around those drivers that we don't like driving around with. I told you that the IndyCars community here is pretty small. Everyone talks to everyone about everyone else. And, there's a couple of those guys that you don't want to race around just because they're unpredictable. And unfortunately, he's been a victim of a couple of those drivers. So he is wanting to obviously get in front of these guys as quickly as possible and work his way into the distance and not even make it an issue where he's going to race for the win. It's going to be cruise to the win. But it's tough to do that when you got PDF and Pinero around you.
It's always going to be a tough ask, especially with competition as close as it is here. And with fixed setups, you can't really do much to make the car fast in its own right. But of course, you want to have that dominating performance. Jesper Orman's been putting in a good one so far, but it's not like on a road course where a dominant driver can just set fast lap times and pull away. Here, though, you really have to fight for it. Even if you have the driving ability and the pace, the nature of the beast will just make the competition a lot closer than they would on a lot of other tracks. As now PDF looks to the inside again in the turn 3. He does clear him once more. Seems to be a bit of a back and forth trend so far. And they seem to be playing relatively well with each other as Pinero way up there on the high side in turn 4. As Orman looking to stay with PDF. I don't think he'll be closing up this time, but Pinero falling back there.
I think Pinero had a bit of a bad turn because he's starting to get into the grasp of Dakota DeMay.
Yeah, I was going to say Dakota DeMay starting to close up closer and closer to this little battle as well. So don't count out that number 7 machine either. And Mark Murphy leading the train behind him in the sort of, if you want to use the logic of the Tour de France, which recently concluded the other day, sort of the peloton compared to the breakaway of PDF, Orman, Pinero, and DeMay, but that's not too far away either. Mark Murphy is very much within draft range of that number 7 machine, so he can keep this a little bit closer if the cards are played right here.
Oh, Brian Spots, I think, might have hit the wall.
Brian Spots way up high. I think he did hit the wall in the short shoot there. We'll see if that hurts him, but he came very close there. I think it was just a tap, it looked like. And looking at it, indeed, it was a little tap there on the right rear quarter of that number 13. He's still going there. He's still ahead of Alexandre Vergon, still maintaining his position there. But that is not at all desirable, as Pinero now looks at the inside of Orman for P2 going into turn 1, and PDF cuts his nose off his draft there. That's going to force him back.
And Pinero, Jesper Orman decided that he was going to go defensive on the high side, and he says, I'm just going to hold it. And he ended up maintaining his position there. So Orman fighting hard on the high side, showing once again that the high side is viable to defend tonight here.
And Jesper Orman now clears PDF again, and he retakes the lead. And PDF on the high side again in turn 4. Now, those of you unfamiliar, you're wondering why he's doing that. Well, you really don't want to be running directly behind the car in the middle of the corner, because the way that the cars punch a hole in the air around them, it means that there's less air running over the wings, and that's giving the cars less grip. And even on a track this big at over 220 miles an hour, you feel it. You feel that car getting away from you. So that's why PDF is up there. He's running that higher line so that he can get as much grip as he can there. And even in the middle of the corner there, it may not be optimal there, but it is optimal going down the straightaway afterwards, because you get that momentum coming off the high side and the slipstream of the car ahead. As we're about to see once more with PDF, he'll look to the inside again to turn 1, and that's exactly the game that these guys are playing.
If you're just joining us, this is Race First coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Monday Night IndyFix Top Split, coming to you from Indianapolis, where we've completed 19 of a scheduled 50 laps. If you're enjoying Race First coverage of tonight's race and would like to monetarily support our commentary team, make sure you donate via our GoFundMe link in the description for your convenience, and so you don't lose track of any of the action. You can donate right now and still listen to our call of the race. All you have to do is right-click on the link in the description, go to our GoFundMe page in another tab, and make your donation. When you're done submitting your donation, you can close your tab and you'll be right back with us. It's just that easy. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe as well.
Love to have you guys stick around, especially with racing as good as the stuff we've seen lately. Mark Murphy, meanwhile, I'm looking back to in that battle for P5, Mark Murphy and Brian Spots. That little contact there with the wall doesn't seem to have hurt Spots all that much. He's still very much in the thick of it. Spots now doing the same thing PDF was doing, this time in turn number 3 and 3, 4, and 4 as well. And I'm also hearing on the radio some stuff between Stephen Lee, Cesar Cabral, and such.
That's a little bit
Stephen
further
Lee
on
looking to the
Brad.
outside of Casalabetta for 10th.
Cesar Cabral's back in 20th. I'm not sure who. Stefano Casalabetta, maybe?
Interesting. Maybe
There's Stephen
that.
Lee, yeah.
And we're not too sure what happened to Cesar Cabral there.
Well,
He started 12th.
Cabral made a pit stop. So, and
Cabral
he and DL Lemon made a pit stop, and they just kind of hanging out in the back, look like trying to make fuel at the moment. There you see, that is Cabral, and there is Lemon and the Bitcoin Dallara.
Well, interestingly, though, it's going to be a big ask, as I see behind him, David Graybill in 12th place coming on the pit road. Ooh, locks up the fronts. He doesn't get a speeding penalty for that.
Now, he looks like he's going to try to split this race in two. Kind of.
Yeah, Graybill, we're about the window that you would expect. We're starting lap 22 here. This would be about where the pit window would open, especially if you're expecting people to go all the way to the checkers with no or maybe even one caution. So this is the time where people are really starting to consider coming in. The commonly accepted rule of thumb is that 30 laps thereabouts is about the number of laps you can get, as Mark Murphy is one of the first of the leaders to come onto pit road, and I think that's Alex. And that's is that Alexander gone behind him? No, it's not.
Trace did.
Tracy did.
So those are teammates. Those are teammates pitting right there. And here comes Graybill out with the leaders. Interesting. He's going to have a full tank and new set of tires with cars right now that are light, but a lot more worn tires.
And it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out there. It may not be as substantial as it would be on a track like one of the worst case examples would be Iowa Speedway, where fresh tires will see you blow by the leaders even when they're trying to go all out on worn out rubber. But we'll see how that all plays out here. But looking at what Murphy and Shadid are doing, this was a call that I see a lot of people make in the 500-mile races especially, and it's one that I particularly like, especially since it covers all the bases for you. And if you're able to stay on the lead lap, as I believe Murphy has, Shadid, though, is in the thick of it right now as he's side-by-side with Brian Spots. If you're in Mark Murphy's position, I love this, because if the caution were to come out
and
now,
here comes your
you
leader,
would cycle to the lead.
Right, and he's going to stay out by himself. He's not going to have the benefit of a draft on anybody. And Pablo Diaz-Francis goes on the pit road.
Locks up those tires hard. Like, that's some of the hardest stuff I've ever seen for locking up the tires coming on the pit road. But hey, you don't need them anyway. But lap 25 is when PDF is coming on the pit road.
Special
Again,
thanks.
A little bit of a lockup there on the left front coming into his box.
Yeah, slid in. Hopefully didn't slide too much past his marks. It would have cost him a little time. Down and away. Looks like a pretty good start. Stop. Hey, a special thanks to 4D RACEWEAR as a season-long partner of the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split. 4D RACEWEAR are the makers of ultimate gear and apparel designed specifically for sim racing. Check them out today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's stream description. And if you use this coupon code, totally unique for this race, you can get 10% off your next purchase. That's MNF10Indy. MNF10Indy. We'll show that one more time before the night's up. It's 4D RACEWEAR. So right now your leader is Adriano Pinero, as most people are starting some early pit cycling.
And we're kind of in the middle of the pit cycle right now. Orman and Pinero have still stayed out. And of course, as we've mentioned before, PDF, Pablo Diaz-Francis, he has
two cars
pitted.
Oh, we got a car coming in that way, hit the wall that way. It looked like Spots.
Casalbetta. That's Casalbetta. So that looks like game over for the number 23. No caution. It happened on pit road, so that probably shielded him from bringing out a caution. But that number 23 machine is all banged up. That is game over, no doubt about that, for Stefano Casalbetta.
Yeah, unfortunately, day done. And that just made it to the end of your first stint. Oh,
gut-wrenching, no doubt about that.
Trying to get the camera on the leaders. There they are. One more lap around. 28 laps on this current stint for these two. Right behind them, Stephen Lee is P3. Diego Pinero. I was talking about him. He has worked his way up through this stint to P4. DL Lemon, P5. Right behind him, Cesar Cabral, now P6. And David Thomas, right there, the last car in that train. He is 28 laps into his current stint, so he's still looking to pit again here soon. Frank Irwin Jr. looking on pit road for his stop.
And Irwin down off the Jackson away. He was up to 4th coming into that stop. Started 18th. So far been a quiet but solid night here for the number 17 crew.
Well, so far through the pit cycling, we got DeMade has moved up to direct contact with Pablo Diaz-Francis. And we will see. Pinero is in now. And we're going to see where he pops out.
Adriano Pinero, ooh, a little bit squeamish there coming into his box. He does hit his marks, though, up on the jacks. 4 fresh Firestones going on, down and away.
Here come the leaders.
Here comes Orman down the front straightaway. He's all on his lonesome. Stephen Lee currently in P2, about 7 seconds in arrears, as now Lee is coming onto pit road as well.
Yeah, watching this. As soon as these cycles through, here are your leaders right here. And Pablo Diaz-Francis is going to come out behind Adriano Pinheiro.
And it is a noticeable gap there. I wouldn't say it's insurmountable, though. He would still be effectively in draft range of that number one machine if he can keep the pace he's running here.
1.5 seconds is what he needs. Yeah, 1.5 seconds is what he needs to stay within in order to keep that draft envelope something to be managed. And we'll take a look here from Pinheiro back to Francis. As we're waiting for everything to shake out. Yeah, he's within it. So we'll see if he can run him down.
And meanwhile, Jesper Orman still running lap number 31 here for that number 4.
I imagine with that early caution, we probably are going to see him go up to 35, possibly, especially the way that he was swapping the lead with those other leaders at when he was up front.
My thought could be 33 thereabouts he could probably make. Of course, you don't save a full lap of fuel under caution. But it could be possible to see 35 out of it, but I'm not sure, especially with the lap times he's putting in right now, a 40.7 on that last lap. He's looking pretty quick right now, so I think what he's trying to do is to actually try and get a cushion over Pinheiro and PDF, and he's using the clean air as a good opportunity to do so. And looking at that example there, Orman on the last lap was a 40.7. PDF and Pinheiro were running 41 evens.
Here we go on the pit road for the
smooth entry for Jesper Orman.
Yeah, for the IAR car coming on pit road. Making that slow run down to that one of those very first pit stalls down there.
60 miles an hour always feels like you're stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic in Philadelphia, where I live.
And now we have a battle for the lead between Diego Pinheiro and DL Lemon. Right with them is Cesar Cabral. This is a battle of cars that are on their 33rd lap of their stint. Again, they pitted with that caution, so they are going to go a little bit deeper.
Keeping an eye on Orman to see if his game plan worked there. He's coming off a pit road in the short shooting 1 and 2. Pinheiro and PDF are going to come out around him. Let's see. Orman back underway, getting himself up to speed. He has a gap over the two of them, but it still looks like it may not be quite enough to break the toe, as you suggested.
Still a pretty big. That was a lot more than I thought he would. That's a great gap. It's going to have to take done. It's going to have to take some cooperation between PDF and Pinheiro in order to run them down, and whether or not they want to work with each other remains to be seen.
I'm not sure. Looking at what I'm seeing right now, they're side by side going into turn number 1. Pinheiro does clear him around the outside that time. I think PDF just let him go in that instance. But we'll see now if they realize that Orman has got the drop on them. Let's see if they can actually make this work here using the toe to their advantage, especially with Orman ahead with no one around him.
Coming to 15 to go here. That might be the move of the race. We shall see. DL Lemon is your leader.
Caution's out.
Oh, caution's out, and I'm not sure who that
Felipe
was.
Radicic is one of the ones that left.
And, well, that's going to be, yeah. He was in that Oreo car, and he just got a lazy loose off of corner number 2.
Yes, he did. Yep. Lazy spin off of turn 2. And
done. We've seen that so many times. And that happened right in front of the leaders of the race course. On the race course, excuse me, DL Lemon and Cesar Cabral. So they are going to stop, but they're going to cycle all the way to the back, unfortunately.
Indeed, and even more so for Jesper Orman. It seems like the game plan he had, it's all gone to pot for him right now. He's sadly, he had that game plan to build himself a cushion, break away from the threshold where they would get the slipstream, but now he's now going to have Pinheiro, Francis, DeMade, Murphy, Spots, all of them all over his gearbox once more.
And he is not slowing down any until he got to the end of that line. He's like, I am not wasting any extra time on this racetrack. I'm going to give the competition any extra time on this racetrack. He immediately sprinted to his spot in line here under caution. So there you see the cars queuing up behind him. So what you're going to see here, you're probably going to see these 4 cars, at least 3 cars, DL Lemon, Cesar Cabral, and David Thomas, which is the first, second, and third right there. They will make the stop on pit road right here. Right in front of Orman, that is Dan Raffaello right there. He is more than likely, well, he's probably going to pit too. He's 35 laps on a current set, so we might see him pit. Fortunately, he cannot pit. He's a lap down. He might also try to stay out to get the wave around and hope for an early caution, but he is 1 lap down to the field.
And of course, Lemon, Cabral, and Thomas all on pit road.
Look at all the cars in the rear there, pump faking, realizing that it's probably better to stay out on the race course here. Now let's see if anybody tries this strategy of trying to cool the tires again.
I think I saw PDF trying it in turn 3 a little bit earlier. We'll see if this is something that they keep trying here. Is not quite that time. Looking at Pablo Diaz-Francis is number 3.
Let's get a bit of a wider camera shot heading up the Race First 1 airship piloted by our good friend TC. And currently we're watching the 3 first, second, and third in the running order at the moment. Let's see if we get to see any of them dipping off, possibly trying to cool the tires. I did not see Dakota doing anything. Mark Murphy staying pretty high off the bottom apron spot, same way. McQuarrie, Ragon, Lee, Graybill, that's your top 10 right there. Again, everyone is staying high off the grass. So we'll see as we get into turn 3 if anyone decides to come down and see if they can take advantage of possibly this exploit apparently that is in the iRacing code.
We'll see, and of course we'll kind of like the brake dragging technique from a couple seasons ago, which iRacing started to clamp down on. I'm wondering how they would clamp down on this if indeed this is what they're trying. And I'm hearing some engines revving here. I believe that's Orman in particular. They're trying to burn off some fuel.
Yeah, we just popped in on the roll bar, and there it is, right there. Seeing him is burning some extra fuel.
And Pinero's doing it too.
Okay, so Raffaello is staying out, so he is going to hope for an early caution. Otherwise, he's going to pit pretty much right away. Another thing he could do, as soon as cars take the green flag, if he lags behind, he could hit pit road and pit under green that way. But you have to time it right, otherwise you pop out, and you pop out right around the wrong people. But he's getting the wave around.
And of course, that's the sign that we're getting 1 lap to green, alongside the obvious one, which is the lights on the base car being off. So it's Jesper Orman, Adriano Pinero, Pablo Diaz-Francis. These 3 have been in a tussle all night long. Dakota DeMay, Mark Murphy, and Brian Spots have been waiting in the wings all night. Let's see what they can do to maybe play spoiler through this.
Watching Dan Raffaello working his way around. Getting back to the end of this pack here, exiting turn 2 down the back stretch here, getting ready to go green. We will take the green flag on lap 39, 11 to go. And once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching Race First coverage of the Indy round of the 4D RACEWEAR Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split, coming to you from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where Jesper Orman currently leads. Will be about 11 laps to go when we go green of a scheduled 50. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on the next race here on Race First. That's tomorrow night with the Race First Formula Indy Series. It'll be me and Steven again tomorrow, as we will be racing at Nürburgring, I think.
Yep, Nürburgring tomorrow night. A track that I've actually been to in real life alongside Indianapolis, and now we're going once more. Jesper Orman.
Snaky snake time.
It's time to play the snake. Orman gets a good jump over Pinero. PDF looking to the high side. Not quite there to stick it alongside Pinero, of course, but he's going to be looking for a run on the backstretch. And the same with Pinero as well. He's going to be right in the slipstream coming down the backstretch here. How much defense does Orman play? Pinero way down to the low side. He's looking to the inside going into turn 3. He will clear him, I think. Yes, he does.
Yeah, Pinero was intent on sending it down low there. Kind of surprised Jesper allowed him that easily. I figured Jesper would be doing the snake a little bit lower down the backstretch, much like they are in the front stretch there, but that is no go. There he goes. He's getting a sniff of the clean air into turn 1, and he is clear of Pinero. Going into the short chute. Whoa, Pinero almost floats up and gets contact with the wall.
The opening salvos are being fired in this battle right now as we're going to be coming to 10 laps to go this time by. Orman not quite all the way down to the low side, down the back straightaway. Pinero looks to the inside again into turn 3. This may be something that Orman is trying to encourage a little bit. We'll see, though, if indeed it is a game plan or just not quite being as aggressive as he probably would want to be. Heading down the front stretch. 10 to go. Orman to the inside. Pinero led the lap by 67 one-thousandths of a second.
Oh, and the PDF, I think just about, if he didn't kiss the wall, he about said got real close and personal.
Very close stuff for PDF, and he's falling back behind these two. I don't think the aero wash coming off of either of them has been doing him any favors so far, especially on worn tires. But once again, it's Pinero to the inside in turn 3 to retake the lead of the race. Orman on the high side there, trying to get the launch off the corner. Will it be enough?
No, he cannot. He really needs to reverse this because the way that they're timing his passes on the front straight, he's not crossing, passing, or at least having his nose out ahead of Pinero. So he needs to either defend going into 3 or switch roles.
Exactly. I think he needs to play a much more aggressive defense here, but that's not looking to be the case right now as Pinero looks to the inside into turn 3. He may well be saving that strength for a few laps to go in this race, but with tire wear being a factor as well to consider, I'm not sure if he would want to leave it that late. I think he would want to actually make it happen here. He's not quite in much of a position to gain something much from staying in second place in the positions that he's in. If he's going to make the defense, he's got to make the defense at some point in the near future.
Spots challenging Murphy here for the top 5 spot. They're going right in front of the Riley Children's Hospital suites down the back straight, starting to work his way into the picture right behind Spots is McQuarrie there in that Scours sponsored car.
Brian Spots still driving very, very well. Obviously, that little brush with the wall earlier didn't hurt him that much. But now he's going to have the toe of Mark Murphy, who's dropped back a little bit from Dakota DeMay in P4. But Spots way up there on that high side now in 1 and 2. And Murphy kind of running a middle groove there, kind of low-key forcing him up a little bit higher to his disadvantage here. That could be a little clever trick he's doing there.
Watching
Maybe
the battle
something
here between
pick up on his...
watching the battle between Diego Pinero and Trey Shadid for P11. They're continuing to battle, trying to work their way up. One of these cars work their way up into the top 10.
And Pereño's been doing fantastic so far.
14
and now
spots.
He's going to be...
14 spots gained.
Well done to him so far, up to P11. And now he's got David Graybill separating him and a top 10 spot. As saw some little bit of close quarters there. I think that was Frank Irwin Jr. coming really close to the wall. But as we're approaching 5 laps to go, this time by at Indianapolis, Pinero and Orman, the pattern has not been broken as of yet between these two. PDF is a little bit closer now, I think. I think he's going to be wanting to pick his chances here, as now 5 to go. Orman to the inside.
That time by Orman, 40.8. Pinero, 40.8. Pablo Diaz-Francis, 40.7. So you're right. He is slightly faster than these two right in front of him, and he is starting to reel him back in. There's still time. 5 to go.
Getting closer and closer down the backstretch now. Pinero, once again, this pattern doesn't seem to be changing all that much. If Orman wants this win, I'm sure he does, obviously. If he really wants it, he's going to have to play some serious defense or just throw the pattern out of some sort of whack in these final 4 laps.
Shout out to Diego Pinero, worked his way now around David Graybill into the top 10. So up 15 spots from where he started. Hey, Diego, just think where you might have been if you were qualified.
Exactly. Just that sort of pace is up and definitely be up there with his teammates, PDF, and of course, Gonzalo Romero, who unfortunately wrecked out early.
You know, I understand the hesitation of wanting to start from the back and keep everything in front of you. There's a lot to say about that. That is a strategy I follow. There's other people like, I want everything to happen behind me. But I realize I'm not as fast all the time to have everything behind me. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to happen in front of me. And I just want to see everything in front of me and have time to avoid it. And that's kind of what has worked in his advantage a little bit today, especially with one of those early cautions. And that secondary caution, of course, happened all right in front of them as well. So we are now 3 to go. A little smoke on the backstretch. Not sure who that came from. But here comes, once again, second verse, same as the first, as both Pinero and Orman swap the lead going into 3.
I'm surprised how little defense is being played by these two right now, but with 2 laps to go, that could all be out the window pretty quick. 2 laps to go.
Oh, there's a wounded car on pit road. Not sure who it was. That's Brian Campbell. Unfortunately, his day is done. So 2 laps to go. Jesper Orman through the south portion of the racetrack. Now headed north down the backstretch between the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course. Inside is Pinero. Passes again. Does he decide to defend if he can pull the pass off on the white flag lap? Does he decide to defend going through turn 3? Does Pinero decide to defend? And I think Pinero's defending a little bit this time.
Game on now, white flag flying.
Here we go,
Orman
white
to the inside.
in the air, side by side through 1. Into the short chute is
The
Pinero.
edge now. He's got to play defense here now. He's got to be blocking that low line for all he's worth. I would hope so. There he goes, down low.
Stay low.
Can Pinero find it on the high line here? He's got momentum there, but Orman's still got the inside line in 3.
Orman still has a car.
Side.
Orman still has a car a lot closer to the front than it was before. He's not going to have to pass him coming down the main straight. Here they come. They're going to
come. Orman down low. It's going to be a track race coming to the line. Who's going to get it?
It's
Jesper Orman.
Jesper Orman. Wow, couldn't even tell from that angle.
Beautifully played. Jesper Orman, 16 1/1000ths of a second, the margin of victory. What a finish.
He did exactly kind of what I was thinking he'd do, but he waited until the last lap, and it held off. And let's, you know what, we have a little time before we could get people into the interview rooms and whatnot. Let's, he's doing the victory weave there. That is worth a second look from another angle. And let's pick this back up as they are going through turn 3. Let's see if TC had a better angle up in the blimp. There we go. See, side by side through the north end of the racetrack in the turn 4. There you see Orman getting a run on the low side. Now a big run off the high side. We're not going to be able to see from this angle, so let's try to get to this angle right here. Seems to be doing pretty good. Well, we can't get it right on the start-finish line, but that right there.
That is fantastic. 16 1/1000ths of a second.
Yeah, there you go. So, photo finish here at Indianapolis. The best kind. The best kind.
It's always the stuff we love to see.
let's check out the interview room really quick. I would assume that Jesper would be here, but he's not yet.
I see Dakota here. He's probably celebrating hard right now.
Well, while we wait, let's see if anyone pops into the interview room. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's final standings here from the Indy round of the 40 Indy Fix Top Split season. And there they are. Jesper Orman's your winner over Adriana Pinero, Pablo Diaz-Francis, Dakota DeMay, and Mark Murphy. I tell you what, Murphy and DeMay just kind of hung out in fourth and fifth all day long. They were there. Something happened. They were able to capitalize over, unfortunately, Gonzalo Romero hitting the wall, but it was kind of a follow-the-leader day for those guys. Brian Spots worked his way up to P6, McQuarrie P7, Ragon P8, Stephen Lee up to P9, and Diego Pinero worked his way up to P10. He worked his way up, 15 spots from where he started. Stephen Lee also worked his way up 7 spots from where he started. Trey Shadid, Cesar Cabral, DL Lemon, Frank Irwin Jr., and Austin Jordan rounding out your top 15. Your top 20 is Matthew Mercer, David Graybill, Dan Rafiro, Brian Campbell, David Thomas, and rounding out the remainder of this 25-car field, Philip Radacek, Stefano Casiobetta, Gonzalo Romero, Joe Ribeiro, and James Kennedy.
And I see Jesper Orman, of course, our race winner there in the interview room, ready for us. And I see Mark Murphy and Dakota DeMay as well.
Well, let's go ahead and bring in Jesper first. And just want to bring him on up in here. Jesper, man, you had us all out of breath. Congratulations. We were wondering when you were going to make that aggressive defense move down the backstretch, and you waited to the last lap, and you made it hang. Tell us about your race and, of course, about your thought on that last lap.
Yeah, thanks. That was a fun race. This setup was much better than last time around. So the racing was actually pretty good, in my opinion. Thing is, like, if you're the number 3 car, like Pablo was, you can't follow, like, if the 2 cars in front of him, P1 and P2, if they're fighting. So me and Adriano, we really had to work together to keep Pablo like half a second behind, so that we would be securing that was a P1 and P2, because you don't want a 3rd car in the battle. And yeah, I guess we didn't communicate or anything, but I think we both knew that, okay, we're gonna have to wait until the last lap to start fighting. And Adriano kind of went a little bit low on the front stretch there, but I was so close to him, so I managed to pass him on the inside. And then I looked at the gap to Pablo, which I think it was like 0.6 seconds, so on the backstretch. So I decided to I think it's time to start defending now, because I like that inside. I've had a couple of wins from the inside line already, so it seems to be working for me. So yeah, that was a very much needed win for me, because I think last week for me was kind of rough.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
we were talking about that. Just it's nothing of your fault. You're just I think you're wrong place, wrong time, or around the wrong people. Nothing really of to your detriment, your own personal detriment. You just happen to be in the wrong place, wrong time. And it's good to see you get that win here and get that monkey kind of off your back, and kind of get the pendulum going the other direction now for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was very happy with my qualifying time as well, because I qualified P1, and that is always good. Okay, P2 and P3, they're gonna get those runs on the backstretch, but yeah, I'm really happy with the qualifying run as well. So yeah.
No, even
it's a good
before
start to the week.
even before the finish though, and that last caution, you kind of had before that last caution, you pretty much had the field covered even after through the pit stop. You had a good margin over a P2, a P3 with about 15 or so laps ago. That probably, if they weren't working with each other, and I don't think they were working with each other at that matter, because when we saw them, they were constantly trying to fight each other, and you were just kind of slowly either pulling away or at least keeping the margin the same. That you could have probably done without that last caution, but you probably could have won just based off that fuel strategy or that pit strategy alone.
Yeah, maybe. I knew that I was gonna be P1 out of the pits because my in-laps, like the 4 or 5 in-laps I had, they were really fast because I was catching cars in front. So I knew that I was gonna probably overcut them a little bit there. Then I came out, like, I think this gap was like 2 seconds when I came out, and actually I think they slowly started to gain on me because when that yellow came finally, I think the gap was down to 1.5, which I think is like, yeah, it pretty much had me there. I think I was trying really hard to weave on the straight to break the trap, but
Right.
I think they would have caught me anyway there. So yeah,
Steven?
didn't change much. I think that caution.
Yeah, right. You're right there. Yeah, Steven, any questions?
Well, you mentioned before about the about how the setup was handling for you, and the pace I've actually noticed compared to other fixed sets is pretty quick, especially in qualifying. But the way it was driving, you mentioned before that that the way you and Adriano were going, it was really to a detriment to PDF behind you. And obviously that's something that we see as well. But do you think that was you think there was something different this time that kept, especially since he was kept in the game for quite a while before that last restart?
You mean like the setup this time from the last time around?
Right.
I don't know. I think the last time around, that I briefly looked at that set, and it looked kind of like almost like a weird qualifying set or something, because you couldn't catch anybody. There was like no downforce at all almost. So you were like 8, 9 tenths behind the car in front of you. You couldn't do anything. I remember Adriano I was just looking in his on his car, like his at 1 second ahead. I couldn't do anything. This time, I also looked at this set a little bit briefly. I think it had more downforce, and like the mechanical stuff looked a little bit more like it was making more sense. And also, maybe we don't know this, but they had like an aero update like a couple of weeks ago, so maybe that played in a little bit. Who knows?
I have.
So yeah, but. I think this week's going to be good. I think a lot of people are going to race at Indy this week.
Myself included, for that matter.
It's fun.
Yeah, I saw tonight we pulled people for the truck series. More people showed up for Indy than the truck series. Normally it's the other way around. So it's always good to see popularity with IndyCar. Next week we are moving on to back, and we'll look at points next week when points matter again, because this is Indianapolis. No one really cares about points in Indianapolis. Just worry about winning. And I don't blame them. We go to Long Beach. How's your Long Beach rhythm going on here? And will we see you next week? Possibly make an appearance in the split.
Possibly. I'm not against Long Beach. It's a fun track. I think it might be a good idea to go to Long Beach next week, because we need a Swedish revenge from Marcus Ericsson earlier this season.
Yes.
If he had finished that race, he would be in like a 50-point lead, and the championship would be over already.
Well, he did win the Indy 500 this year. I guess you could say that's vengeance in its own right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Before we let you go, I'm sure you got shout outs. Feel free to shout out to anybody you like. Say hi to them.
My team, and our buddy Seb Alexander. He's a good guy. We met up at my place yesterday and watched the race, so that was a lot of fun. And
awesome.
One other thing that I always have forgotten, but now I am not going to forget. Glory to Ukraine, Slava Ukraini.
You got it. Well, thanks for congratulations on the win. Thanks for showing up tonight. We always look forward to you in these top split races, and we look forward to seeing you again a little bit either next week or later in the season.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Steph.
You take care. All right, let's go ahead and they're hanging out down there, so let's go ahead and bring up Dakota and Mark at the same time.
I like that idea.
Yeah, let's go and bring them up both at the same time. So we got Dakota and Mark here at the same time. Guys, not a lot of progress made on the race course, but still top fives for both of you. Dakota, start with your day first, and then Mark, you can pick it up.
Yeah, I started fourth. Stayed in fourth about the whole time, and I finished fourth, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Not much going on there. The new Aero update helps a little bit with following. The third car can now follow the first two cars, but the fourth car is still just a little bit cut off there behind, and then the tires wore down a lot, and I couldn't really do much. So, but I'm fine with it. Cruising around in fourth, still a decent finish. I'll take it.
Good iRating day.
Yep.
Okay, that's you can take that. How about you, Mark?
I got to compliment Dakota's the paint job on Dakota's rear wing, because it got really familiar with it.
Usually does a good job with them.
It does, man. Just kind of same. I mean, we tried that early pit strategy, and it didn't quite work out with Grace and I coming out together. And I was hoping I saw Dakota ahead of me. I was like, man, come on, I got to get to him. And by the time I got within 6/10 of Dakota, he had just started to get enough suck from Pablo that I just couldn't quite get to him to make the slingshot work. Otherwise, I think we could have had a chance. But, oh well, I mean, good day, good points day. Really pleased with that. Really happy that I didn't wind up the last time we came here. I wound up backwards and upside down.
Right.
Turn two, so that was good. But yeah, good points day.
Well, we paid attention to your both Steven and I paid attention to your pit strategy with your teammate, and we thought it had a shot, but just it didn't shake out to be that way. But we definitely thought it was a valid chance you took there. So what does Sato say? No shot, no chance, no chance, no shot. I don't forget what he says, but I guess with
no attack, no chance.
No attack, no chance. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever it is with Sato though, but you got Panero and Orman and PDF are so good up there. I mean, you need to find something different in order to bring the fight to them sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Dakota while we were waiting, they've got about 500s that I just don't have. Dakota has it sometimes, but I sure as heck don't. And so you gotta try something different sometimes. And I had two chances. I figured Dakota would probably try the same thing, and had Trace behind me, and you do it and you hope for the best, and we were about 2/10 on a racetrack away from making it happen.
Dakota, any shout outs anybody want to say hi to?
Check out Sunset Arctic Games. You can follow me on Twitter at Sunset Arctic. I got a cool announcement soon regarding Echo Blade. And then if you guys need any paints, Mark, you've seen my paint. It looks pretty good. You can check me out on Trading Paints or Twitter at sunarc_graphics, and you can reach out to me and get some custom paints and liveries and whatnot. And shout out to Lucas and Alyssa, because I know they're always watching.
So was that actually your design on the GT4 car for Gavin at Toronto?
Yes, it was. Gavin Sanders came to me and wanted a GT4 with I don't know if I can say this on iRacing Air, but fat bastard burritos, and wanted a new livery for his actual real car. So I was able to design that in iRacing and then send it over to Gavin, and he got it wrapped, and even put my logo on the car, and he won both races at the Toronto weekend. So that's super awesome. That's like one of the coolest things.
That is really really cool. Is there anybody? Is that online where anyone could catch that, or any place, or was that not televised?
It will be televised later on TSN, which I think is just like only a Canadian channel.
Yeah.
So if you're a Canadian viewer out there, you can watch the STCC race at Toronto at at some point on TSN. Hopefully, it gets uploaded to YouTube later on the Fell Motorsports channel. So.
Yeah, or check out your
fun.
Twitter. Check out your Twitter feed. I think you had a picture of it on there as well. But yeah, man, a race twin back-to-back race winning on a weekend at Toronto livery produced by Dakota DeMade for the real world. So that is awesome. So very proud of you. But moving on to Mark. Mark, anything shout outs you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah. So funnily enough, Dakota and I discovered while we were waiting that he's actually from where I live now. So shout out to all of Dakota's old neighbors. Have you watching?
All right. Well, there you go. Well, we appreciate you.
And I gotta thank Natalie for letting me do this. She's an absolute saint. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my painters over at Black Magic for the Stroker Ace liveried machine.
Chicken pit, yes.
Yes, sir. So I'm trying to think of something else to do maybe for next season. So maybe we'll talk to Dakota about that. We'll get some competition going. Beyond that,
cha-ching sound effect. I'd play that right now for Dakota.
Well, and I gotta thank you and Gary, and you, Steven. You guys do an amazing job, and I think I'm gonna have cold beer and watch this one back on TV. Yeah, you should definitely. You should go back and enjoy the rest of the evening. Both you guys, congratulations on your top fives, and we'll see you at the road course next week, Long Beach.
Yep, you know it.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. So, your final thoughts here from Indianapolis. Sounds like we had a slightly better setup here going on. Allowed at least two cars to race well. That third car to also race, but now the fourth car can't hang out. But it was a great race. And the last couple Indy races haven't been that close, and this has been, I believe, the closest we've had on the Monday night when we started since we've started the Monday night coverage for the top split is that margin of victory 0.016 at the line there. Orman over Pinero. So I would imagine you are a pretty happy camper after seeing that great battle.
No doubt about that. And if this was the real Indy 500, that'd be the closest finish in Indy 500 history. That just goes to show like how good the setup was, how well these guys were driving, and frankly, if this is going to be the send-off to the old scan of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway within iRacing, I think it's a good one to go out on. It really showed that the old track, it may have had its ups and downs. We may have wanted a new one a long time ago, but it still created a lot of memories. It created some good ones here tonight, and the new scan of Indy, whenever it may come, it'll create more, no doubt about that.
Oh, soon. Please soon. Please soon. Please soon. Well,
get on with it.
Get on with it. What are you doing? It can't take that long.
Come on, guys.
Of course, the next thing everyone will complain about is it doesn't have the dirt track in turn 3. Well, hey,
I mean, if they're going to update it in installments, that could well be something they do later.
Will they accept payments in installments then if people want to buy the track? No,
interesting point.
They won't. They won't do that.
They probably won't.
We're just giving iRacing a hard time. So tonight's race coverage has been brought to you by 4D RACEWEAR. 4Ds are the makers
because we love you, iRacing.
We do. 4Ds are the makers of ultimate race gear and apparel designed specifically for sim racing. Check them out today at 4DRacewear.com or click on the link in today's stream description. And if you use this coupon code right here, MNF10 Indy, MNF10 Indy. Use that coupon code today, and for the next week, you can get 10% off your next purchase. So that's it tonight. Once again, your podium from Indy is Jesper Orman with a great win, 0.016 seconds over Adriano Pinero. And Pablo Diaz-Francis had the best seat in the house. You got to watch it all. He finishes third. Join Steven and myself again next week for round 8 of the 4D RACEWEAR Monday Night IndyFix Top Split of Season 3 of 22, coming to you from Long Beach. Coverage, as always, begins around 8:15 Eastern. That's about 8:15 Eastern Time, 8:15, so you can find everything right here on YouTube at youtube.com/racefirst. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they are not easy, require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you the last 3 Indy Fix seasons. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and have enjoyed our coverage of the Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the broadcast description, and donate to our Season 3 22 Monday Night Indy Fix Top Split broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and make us a part of your Monday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Race First other iRacing programming, including the Race First Formula Indy Series on Tuesdays, the Revolution IndyCar Series, Schaefer's IndyCar Series, on Wednesdays, the Stock Carnival de Brazil on Thursdays, and the IndyCar iRacing Series on Fridays, on which the NTT IndyCar Series races on those weekends. So keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge in all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com or follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at our Twitter handles are right here at the bottom of the page. You can add those to your profiles right now. So for Stephen Larkamp, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed. God bless. Come home safe. Kate, catch us again next week in Long Beach for the next race of the 4D RACEWEAR Monday Night Indy Fixed Top Split. Good night.